Hi, my name is Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Netflix book tag. I will link the original creator video down below. I saw this kind of floating around. I've seen many different versions of people's responses to it, so I'm going to put the questions and the original video linked below. I just wanted to participate and give my own responses. So the first question is recently watched. What was the last book that you finished? I last finished Out of the Easy by Rita Sepetys. I didn't really enjoy it. I have this plan of wanting to read her books in publication order. I had put off reading this one for a few years because I started it about 5 years ago. I read the first chapter and really was not that intrigued. And I honestly should have stuck with that belief because in picking it up and trying to read it again, I pushed through it to finish it and I just didn't really like it. I thought the story was very formulaic. I thought it was very bland. So unfortunately not a great read for me, but it is what it is. Question 2 is top picks. A book or books that have been recommended to you based on a book you have already read. For this one, I would say Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I have a friend who has read Christina Lauren's book, and she has recommended not only more of Christina Lauren's books, but also a lot of Sarah Adams' books as well. A lot of people have recommended Ali Hazelwood to me, although I don't like her books. I don't like her writing style, I should say. I'm trying to think of a different one that's been recommended because a friend recently recommended something to me and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Not Another Vampire Story. I don't remember the name, but we were talking about like funny romances that we thought were entertaining, and this friend told me, oh, you might like this one, based off of telling her about, there was like a murder mystery book that I was reading that was very like tongue-in-cheek, breaking the fourth wall, and she said that that book was very similar. I enjoy getting book recommendations from friends, but oftentimes I find it hard to trust them because I read from a wider variety of genres than my friends, and I am definitely hypercritical of some of the books that I read, whereas they're reading more for fun, and so it's not as important to them if like there are issues with like the plot or like character development, things like that. Question 3 recently added, what was the last book that you bought? For me, it was We Do Not Part by Han Kang. This is a book club book for this month for my in-person book club. Unfortunately, it's very hard to find this book here because in Turkey, there are not a wide variety of English books easily available in the city that I live in. And the book has actually been available in Turkish for many years now. So there's not like an urge to get it translated into English because it's been available here for quite a while. So I ended up actually ordering this one from Kennys Bookshop in Ireland, which, if you don't know, this is an independent bookstore in Ireland that does ship around the world for a very low fee. So I would really highly recommend them. It came so incredibly fast and was in beautiful condition. So I will link them down below. I just really love their bookstore. It's been really easy for me to get books that are hard to find here very quickly. So I really appreciate their efforts, and not many independent bookstores in countries outside of the United States are able to do things like that. Question 4 is popular on Netflix. Books that everyone knows about. 2 that I've read and 2 that I have no interest in reading. The 2 that I've read, I would say Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt and The Wedding People by Alison Epoch, or Espach, I think. Those were ones that I saw everywhere. Everyone was talking about how much they loved them, and I loved them too. I thought they were great books, and I definitely understand the hype now. Very happy that those lived up to the hype. The 2 that I have no interest in reading, anything by Sarah J. Maas. I do not like that author as a person. I do not like her books. And then the second is Donna Tartt. I don't have anything against Donna Tartt. Some of her books have sounded interesting to me, but I've just never felt a pull to read her books. I think this is because dark academia is really not my vibe, so it's not something I've ever really had an interest in, and most of her books seem related to that topic. And this is kind of the same for Sarah J. Maas. I don't like a lot of like romance fantasy books. That's not gonna be my cup of tea. Number 5 is Comedies, a funny book. For this one, I feel like I have to say Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I truly don't think I've ever laughed out loud so much as when I read this book. I thought it was so entertaining. I actually cannot wait to read the sequel because I know it's gonna be so funny. The sequel just recently came out and I immediately got an audiobook of that because I love those characters, and Vera Wong is such a funny character. I really can't recommend that one highly enough. Number 6 is Dramas, a character who is a drama queen / king. For this one, I originally was like, I don't really know that I have a character for this, and then I was talking with a friend recently about book characters we didn't like, and I went on a whole rant about this character, so I think it counts. And that is January from Beach Read by Emily Henry. I hated her. I truly felt like she was the most immature, annoying, like, oh, it was just like so awful. I really thought like she overreacted to everything. She had no communication skills, and I really could not stand her. I think that she was just such a drama queen in so many circumstances where I was like, you are an adult, be an adult. Ugh. Number 7, animated, a book with cartoons on the cover. I chose a book that I think is criminally underrated, and it is Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. I'm so glad that this author is continuing on with this series because I loved the first book. I thought it was so fun, and it was a romance where I genuinely felt like there was a real amount of time, development, and care given to the characters. And I loved the little cartoon cover, but I wish that more people would read these books because they're so fun. And I think that there's a really beautiful character development that this author is really so talented in crafting, because oftentimes I really struggle to fully relate to male characters or to really like care about their development, because oftentimes I find male characters can sometimes be lacking in terms of like a deeper reasoning or logic, but I really enjoyed the perspective in this book, and I'm so excited to continue on with the series because I loved the side characters that they're now following in the future books. Yes, please read this, if not just for the beautiful cartoons on the cover. 8 is Watch It Again, a book or book series that you want to reread. For me, this is definitely the Graceling Realm series. I only read the first 2 books. I have not finished the series, but I really, really want to because I loved the first 2. The delay for me was that Bitter Blue had just been coming out as I was reading the first 2 books, and my local library at the time did not have access to Bitter Blue, and then I was going away to college, and that just deeply affected my reading. So I never ended up going back to the series, and so I want to reread the first 2 books and then finish the series because I really want to know what happens. And I remember how invested I was in the first 2 books, so I feel like I have to give it a chance to like see how things turned out. Number 9 is Documentaries, a nonfiction book you'd recommend to everyone. I have a few different answers for this depending on who I am talking to. If I'm talking to someone who wants to understand my job or who has like preconceived ideas about English for speakers of other languages, I always say Refugee High by Ellie Fishman. This is a book that I feel so strongly about because it's following a group of students in an ESL program in Chicago schools. It talks a lot about the realities of teaching in ESL programs that don't receive a lot of funding, or students who are in cycles of poverty and violence and who need education as a means of escape. Although I work in a very different environment now, for a long time that was the ESL environment I was working in. It was really important to me that people be aware because so many people have such negative misconceptions of people that don't speak English as a native language or that don't speak English as a second language easily. So I would definitely recommend that one. However, there are 2 that I think apply to like a wider audience of people. The first one is The Undocumented Americans by Carla Corneo Villavicencio. This is all about undocumented immigrants and their history in the United States and how fundamental they are to so many aspects of life in the United States. I wish more people would read this because I find oftentimes the discussions about immigration in the United States and undocumented immigration are very frustrating, and people dehumanize the people experiencing these things. And I think that this book is a really beautiful blend of memoir and historical analysis of this problem, like sociopolitical analysis especially. I think that's one I have to recommend, and one to get people to maybe care a little bit more about the world around them. I would say Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I still to this day remember so many fun facts about that book. I have told so many people about things I learned in that book, and it encouraged me to look at the world differently. I remember I really didn't I know this is so cheesy, but I didn't stop to smell the roses, and now I am constantly taking pictures of plants, and I have even a couple of plants. You can see one here. I have a few plants of my own that I'm trying to take care of, but it was a book that really made me reevaluate my impressions of nature and my understanding of it and its importance to different people and different communities. So I think that one would also be a really nice book that I wish everyone would read. 10 is Action and Adventure, an action-packed book. I would say That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. I think honestly any of Kimberly Lemming's books are so fun. There's always a really cool adventure in them and they're very entertaining. There's action, there's fight scenes. I really enjoy how fun her books are because I think they blend action, romance, and hysterics all together very nicely. 11 is New Releases, a book that just came out or will be coming out soon that you can't wait to read. The first one is Hardly Creatures. This is a poetry collection that comes out in like the middle of May. And I'm actually so sad because I was looking forward to this so much. And I realized I got approved for an advanced reader's copy on NetGalley. I didn't know that the approval time, like it was less than 2 weeks that I needed to download it. And I was going through a professional development like module at my work that I needed to finish. And so I completely missed it and I'm so sad. I did pre-order a copy of the collection, like a digital copy, so I will be fine. But I'm so sad because I was really looking forward to it. It sounded so amazing. Outside of that, I went to read A Witch's Guide for Magical Innkeeping. This is by Sangu Mandana. This is the sequel to A Very Irregular Society of Witches, which came out a few years ago. I know the author was having some health problems, and so this book got delayed many times over, but it seems like she is doing better, which is amazing news, and I'm really excited that they prioritized her health and delayed the book until the author was in a better place to be able to like edit it, write it, review, whatever. So yeah, I think that one is gonna be definitely worth the wait. And the last one is Legendary Fry Bread Drive-In. This is a short story collection by Indigenous authors, and it is going to be like each story is a part of like is a character in this drive-in diner, and I love short story collections like that have like interconnected stories. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I know there are some pretty famous Indigenous authors that are a part of that. I cannot remember the editor's name. I also think that one might be young adult. I'm not 100% sure though. But yeah, a different variety of books there across the genres that I enjoy reading. I've got a good mix. Those are all the questions for the tag. If you want to answer these questions or if you have comments about the books I talked about, please leave them down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading. Bye.